Good evening, everyone, and welcome. It is Tuesday night, and It's a Legit Metaphysical World. I am your host, Auntie Dale. I am so excited tonight because we have the fabulous card reader, Sarah, back in the fold with us tonight. So let's bring her right on so we can start our conversation.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Auntie Dale. I'm well. How are you?
I am really doing well tonight. I have to tell you before we bring our volunteers in, a couple of weeks ago, I just decided I had to go see Salem. I love Salem, right? And as I'm walking around there, and you'll get this, Sarah, and some of our audience will also get it. I'm really making the connection to previous lives for myself and the fact that I definitely was a witch, a practicing witch in other lives, I think a few lives. And I'm starting to be drawn back to that and want to learn more about it. And as I'm walking around Salem, okay, and I bought this new ring for myself, and I bought a little tiny broom for my office, which is very cool. And I'm walking around, and I was telling my friend afterwards, who's also very much into this stuff. I said, when I go to Salem, it's almost like the spirit, the energy there is happy that I'm there. Like, you're back.
Yep.
This is where you belong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. I think that Salem is like a witch's Disney World, if that makes sense. Because if you think about it, it's where you can be yourself. It's where you can talk about all of the things that you've been thinking about that maybe you need a little bit of affirmation. To be perfectly honest with you, New England itself is very steeped in that cultural kind of vibe of witches in general. When I say cultural, it comes from all different places, right? So not only Italians and Portuguese and Irish and English and, everybody coming in and having their own kind of folk magic, if you will. But Salem is a place, it's like where no holds barred. You can do whatever you feel is necessary. You find all the witchy stuff that you're looking for. So it's like, again, it's like witches Disney. It just feels good. It's magical.
Absolutely.
So of course you do. Yes, of course you're gonna feel all the good feels.
Oh my God, it was fabulous. There's even for those of you who haven't been to Salem in a while, there's a store there that actually has wands, like hundreds of wands. And I'm like, oh, I want one, but I didn't know which one I wanted. Nothing called out to me, like it did with my pendulum. That called out to me. That one I know was supposed to be mine. I couldn't find mine. I think I was just so overwhelmed with everything that was going on. But I have to go back and I have to get a wand, and I have to get a full, like in your office, Sarah, I want a full broom somewhere in my corner. That's what I want.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, you have to. I mean, it just makes sense to do that because then you can use it if you want to get that negative energy out.
Yeah.
Or you can just leave it as, your own basem, and that's what it is. So
yeah, I know. No one's noticed the little broom in my office yet. So
it's probably because it's small. You need a big honking
I need a big one,
We know. We'll get you one. Auntie Dale. We'll make sure.
Okay. So tonight we have two volunteers for you to read tonight. So, buddy, whenever we're ready, you can just bring the first one in. Hi, Andrea. How are you?
Hi. Good. Good evening, ladies. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to kind of sit back and let you and Sarah do your thing, okay?
Thank you. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for meeting with me.
Oh my God, thank you for being a volunteer. That's amazing, So people who have seen this show before and see me do what I do, because you can't physically touch my cards, I'm going to shuffle for you, and we're going to let the universe tell us what we need to know. Okay, so you can think about anything you want to. You can keep your mind completely blank. It is very organic. This is for you. So you don't have to make any wishes. That's the way that I do things. You can just keep your mind as clear as it needs to be, or to think about a certain subject, totally up to you. When you feel the need that you want me to stop shuffling, I will do that for you, and then we'll go from there, okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go.
I think that's good, Sarah.
You feel good? Okay.
Yeah.
So we had, excuse me, because we dropped some here. I call these jumpers. Oh, there's only one. Hold on one second. I'm so sorry.
Certainly.
Here we go. Woohoo! Okay. So we had a jumper. And actually, this card, and we're going to go right ahead and talk about this card.
Okay.
So tapping into your energy, there's a lot of great things that have been happening for you in the sense of like you've been making some breakthroughs for yourself. However, there's a lot of other things that surround you that really kind of make you a little bit more on the timid side when it comes to making those steps in the right direction, when it comes to the things that you've been, okay, that's great. Yep, I feel that way. But then you're like, do I want to do it? Do I want to upset the apple cart? Do I want to? So what I get with that, it's a lot of, conflict within yourself as to what the right direction is. Because yes, you will upset the apple cart. And with this kind of conflict in the sense of, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? You get kind of anxious. So I feel that anxiety. And again, it's not terrible. It's pretty normal when it is that you're choosing things for yourself. You know what I mean? That you feel in this way, should I step? Should I step? Should I step? And then when you make that step, then you feel better. It's like, I grew up in Coventry, West Warwick, West Greenwich area, right? It's like, you guys ever know about Riverdale roller magic? It's like putting skates on, right? You get on that floor and you're like, should I go ahead and start, or am I going to fall on my bum? Nope. And then you go and it's smooth sailing, right? But there's always that opportunity that you will trip up and you will fall. But the thing is that what's happening is that you're not making those steps just yet because you're still on the fence about what it is that you need to do for yourself. You've already chosen here, but it's actually the movements and the actions. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. And what I mean by slowly but surely is what's been happening is that hi, Katie, behind you. That making these choices it's going to affect those around you, because what's happening is that you're choosing some things for yourself in your own independence. So the first card that fell out into my lap, literally, and then onto the floor was that 5 of Wands. And they do look like they're in a conflict. Doesn't mean that they're hitting each other. Doesn't mean that there's violence involved. What it means is that everybody's got something to say and everybody's really passionate about what's happening, except that you are deciding what you are finally passionate about what you need to do to move forward in that right direction. It's a process. It's not going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy and we go. It's going to be putting those roller skates on, being a little bit nervous. Should I get the knee pads? Oh my God, what are we doing here? So the fact that we're in this little bit of a kerfunkle, if that's what and that kind of a thing. I just made that word up. But if we're in this little space of we don't need to know exactly all the outcome, but we know that we feel really settled within ourselves, then that's okay. Okay, so that's giving you the inference as to what's going on. There's a situation that you have been on the brink of deciding that it's time to move forward on. And I feel like this is one that has been kind of sitting up here for a while. You've been hemming and hawing and weighing out all of the options for a really long time. And yet it's passed you by the right time to go ahead and say no more. I have the death card here. The death card does not mean that people are going to die. It means that the situation needs to die in order for something else to come about. Are you currently in a relationship?
No.
Okay. Because I see that as being part of it. If you've done things on your own, that you've decided that, I'm doing the things that I need to do. I'm completely settled in what's happening within my life. Maybe I'm ready for that next step. Maybe I'm not ready for that next step, but I kind of want it. It's kind of up here that you were, it's not this, it's not your heart. It's up here. It's that independence. It's that idea that there might be things that might fall apart in order for something to start anew. Yet there's no promise of anything that's going to transpire. So if you're finally realizing that you want to get yourself out there a little bit more, so it's the mindset of doing it. You're not going to fail. You're not going to be in a place that you're not going to succeed, because actually, if you think about it, it will be a learning curve. And it will be an episode where you'll be able to be like, okay, I learned from that. I'm moving forward. I don't want that. I like that. That's a little nice. Okay. I like whatever. And then move on in your life. Because I feel like what has been happening with you is that you've been surrounding yourself. Do you have children at least? Do you have like people around you that rely on you in a certain way? Or is it
No.
a job? Okay. Because I feel like, okay, let me just tell you how I feel about that in the sense of if it's not little people, because I've got little people that rely on me, but if it's not people that rely on you in a certain way, maybe it is your job. Maybe it is the way that you think about things. Maybe it is that, the way of your life as you know it. You like to go home. You like to have your popcorn. You like to watch your movie. You like to put your feet up. You like to take your bra off, whatever it is, right? You don't want to go ahead and get out of that what you feel comfortable doing. So there are certain things that happen that surround what's going on. Do you know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
what's happening is that you're not too old. You're not too set in your ways. If you want something different, and that means getting out more, that means that you need to change your mindset. So I have that Knight of Wands here. See how he's all systems go?
Oh, yeah.
Once you get those roller skates on and you're out the door, there's no stopping you, whatever you decide it to be.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'm sure that that kind of gave you a little bit of inference in the sense of like if you're making some choices for yourself and you're doing it slowly but surely, the outcome is going to be a learning curve. It's going to be an experience. It's going to be a journey. It's going to be an adventure. Why the heck not try something different?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So the other thing that I do want to talk about, you have a lot of swords. So you think about a lot of things. You're like a brainiac. You think about all of these different things and your mind goes at different directions. The other thing that I do want to say is that you are a manifester. So I have that magician card, meaning that once you think about something, eventually what will happen is that it comes into fruition, right? So if you think about this is what I'm looking for, this is what I want, and it doesn't have to be, you're not thinking about a mansion, you're not thinking about a Tesla, you're just thinking about different things within your life, and then they happen for you, right? It's like
Yeah.
I'm thinking I want this kind of pair of shoes. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that. It's in your mind, but then you get to it and you're like, wow, I actually really made that happen. I figured it out and I got to that point. Whatever you do within your life, in the sense of if you are in your career, I should say, you utilize your brain in other ways that maybe your company or the people that you work for doesn't necessarily know that you are utilizing this muscle a lot more so than the average person or than what your job description looks for. Your brain is always moving in different directions. You're always trying to figure out the next step for yourself, which makes sense of why it's hard to actually do the action and get to where you need to be. So, whatever you're doing within your work and in your job, your brain is going a mile a minute. So, what do you do for work?
Uh, I'm a kind of a secretary type of a job, clerk type.
You
Yeah.
you got to keep your brain going because you constantly having to switch and do different things at any different time, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of
Yeah.
like, oh, this needs to be done 5 seconds ago. And you're like, okay. And then you drop what
Mhm.
you were working on and you do this. Like your brain is always going, you're always waiting. And so you're always looking for that next movement or that next step when it comes to you're on your toes at all moments. So I get it of why if you get stuck in your own way when you get home, because your brain doesn't have to think the same way, but still it doesn't just shut off. It's not like a switch that you come home and you go, and I'm done. It is that your brain is still going and you're thinking about things and you're overthinking and you're processing and you're over analyzing. It's not a bad thing. It's just kind of who you are.
It's
And I think that
exhausting.
it is exhausting. And I think that finding that emotional balance again of saying, this is what I want to do. This is the fact that you're a manifester, you can make anything happen that you want to make happen. You actually just have to think about it and do the action. And then one thing will kind of fall into place. And then the other thing will fall into place. And it will be like, oh my God, I actually am doing the things that I need to do. The company that you work for or the place that you work for, you are very emotionally invested in them as well. Meaning that if you work there for a long period of time, like you're intertwined with a lot of different things. Plus, if you're a clerk or in an executive assistant position, your hands are in a lot of different pots. So you know what's happening in a different department because you have to work with that different department. You know what's happening over here because you have to be part of that too. Like you're interchangeable in all different ways. So when I say that you're emotionally invested in what that you do, it makes sense that, you're doing all of these things, you're thinking about all of these different things, and it's overload, and you're kind of doing it in a robotic kind of way. Like, you know how everything goes. To leave this position or to change would be difficult for you because you're so emotionally invested in what's happening there. You're like part of the plumbing there. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
without you, we wouldn't function, period. And I think that it's important that you look at that and say, this is actually a really good place for you, because they do appreciate, even though you're not being used for all of the things, they appreciate you for who that you are and what you bring to the table. Okay. So I hope that looking for a new position was not on your, docket at this moment, because right now I feel like what you're doing and where you're at is okay. It's perfectly fine to be there.
Okay.
Right. Have you
Good.
worked there for a long period of time?
Yeah, a good amount of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're like the fabric of this business. Like, it wouldn't work without you. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean? So if that gives you any sort of accolade, that you're doing the right thing, you're in a great spot, even though you could do more, it's still what you are doing is really very copacetic in the grand scheme of things. Okay.
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm just going to take a sip. I feel
Sure.
like there's definite mother energy around you. So it's either grandmother or mother, but this person is coming through and giving me, like, literally, she's giving me that kind of mother-like vibes. So sometimes it gets misconstrued in my mind of grandmother, because grandmothers really think of us as another extension, like a mother figure,
Yeah.
or it is a mother figure that is literally here. But she's giving me, like, I take care of her. That's what she's saying. I took care of her. I take care of her now. I do all of those things. She's mine. I do all those things, like she's telling me. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So the letter G comes in. I don't know if her name started with a G or her
Yeah.
last name started with a G. She's
Yeah.
giving me
First
the
name.
affirmation that, yep, that is who she is to you. Okay. So is she a grandma? What's her name? What can I call her?
Grandmother. She's my grandmother. My granny.
Okay. So just because it's a G, what was her first name?
Gloria.
Love that name. So I'm going to sing a song for you, Gloria. She's laughing. She's funny. So she's saying, she's mine. That's mine. I took care of her.
Yes, she
She's doing
did.
something. So she's doing something with her nails. Did she get her nails done, or did she always file her nails? Did she have, like, nice nails? Auntie Dale
Yeah.
aside, you have nice nails.
She
But
does.
she's showing me something about doing her nails. So
Yeah.
is she painting your nails? Is she painting her nails? Like, my grandmother had the nicest nails. I always would look at them and be like, they're
Yep.
so beautiful. She didn't put any crap on them like we do now. But anyway, so she's doing something with her nails, but she is very, very protective of you, but also very, proud in a way of, like, that's mine. She's mine. That's all me.
Wow.
I did that. That's me. That work ethic. That's me. That's all
Yeah.
me. She keeps going like this.
Yeah.
She's like the sweetest thing, but she's so proud of you in a certain way.
Aw.
She's giving me violets to give to you, either Johnny Jump Ups or violets to give to you. Does this make sense to you? So I have this African violet, and that's what she keeps looking at for me. They're like little tiny purple flowers. They're not
Okay.
irises. They're not. They're like little tiny flowers she's giving me, and they're purple, like Johnny Jump Ups or African violets, or like our state flower is actually a violet as well, but they're little. Or pansies. Does that make sense to you?
Pansies or lilacs.
Okay. Lilacs, I feel like the smell isn't there.
No.
They're little purple. They look like, I know I say this sometimes, they look like 4-leaf clovers, but they're not. They're like little purple flowers. They look like, I think they're pansies. Okay. So
Okay.
now she's specifying. Do you have any of her, either it's plates or linens or something of that nature? Do you have any of her stuff? She's showing me like a plate collection. I don't know if
Yes.
this makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Woo! Okay. So these little pansy things are on one of those plates.
Yes, they
Okay.
are.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
They're
So you're going to know.
little blue flowers on the plates. Yes.
Okay. They
Yeah.
look like sometimes, Spirit, they like to test a little bit. They like to make sure I'm paying attention, that
Yes,
I'm on
they
my toes.
do.
So that being said, do you have these plates, or do you know
Yes,
where they
they
are?
do. Yes, I
Oh,
do.
look, she's on a journey. She's going on an
She's
adventure.
going for the
Where's she
plate.
going? She's going for the plate. Where's
I'm
it
going
going?
for the
I love
plate.
it. Okay. She's gonna show us confirmation. Okay. Grand Gloria is just so proud of that you held on to these, that you have them.
I don't know if you can
Okay.
see them. Let me see.
Let's see. Oh, we can see them.
Oh, we can see
Oh,
him.
yeah.
There you go.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So she's so proud that you have these plates. The other thing that she wants to talk about, do you have a dog? I know you have a cat behind you, but do you have a dog, or did she have a dog?
We've had, few animals over the years.
Okay, so she's showing me a Mopsy Flopsy, like it looks like a little gray or dark dog that she's showing me. Okay.
Oh,
She's saying
okay, yeah.
this one is your dog. She's saying this one's hers. I'm holding on to it for her. I feel like this is a childhood animal. She's holding on to this dog for you.
Okay.
Okay. She's like, I'm holding it till she wants him. That's all. That's what she's. I'm holding it. I just tell her I have it. So I don't know what this looks like to you, but she is a character and a half. And what she's showing me is that she is so proud of you. Do you also have a sister or a cousin who's like a sister? She's showing me another little girl that's with you. So sometimes that is a sister or like a cousin that's like a sister, because we're in Rhode Island, let's be honest.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes our cousins are more like our sisters and, that kind of a thing. She's showing me another little girl that's with you. So also, do you have a best friend? Because sometimes this manifests in this way to me too. If you've had a best friend for a really long time, like childhood, that you've grown together, you've done things together, because she's showing me there's another little girl. Okay, put that in your back pocket if it doesn't make sense. Because what she's saying is that she's got the two, like she's watching out for the two of you in different ways.
Okay.
So if this is like, she's like, I've got both of them. I'm holding on to both of them. I got both of them. The other thing that she wants to give me is that she's giving me, and this is very specific, and I don't know why I'm saying it. Sometimes they tell me the weirdest stuff. She's giving me 7 dimes to give to you. So 77 dimes. I don't know why 7. Is the number 70 or the age 70 or that any sort of indications? I don't know. That's supposed to make sense. Maybe she liked it when it was 70 degrees. I don't know. But she's giving me 7 and 0. So 7 dimes, 70. I don't know. Put that in your back pocket, because I'm not sure why. If this is nothing that you know about, just be aware of your surroundings. It can be something that is impending that you will see. Maybe you will get a raise and like the last digits are 70. I don't know. But, you'll understand that is a message from her as well. Okay. So, so the dog, the plates, the nails, which is all weird stuff. They say the weirdest stuff to me sometimes. I'm like, I don't know what that means. And then the other thing is that there's something about either a movie or a play. Were you in a movie or a play, or do you watch the same movie over and over? And can you say the words all the time? You know what I mean? Like she's saying, like you do it, you act it out all the time. Like you say this thing all the time. Does this make sense to you? From like either a movie or a play. And I mean, growing up in this time frame, the movies that we quote nowadays, people who are older don't always understand what we're doing.
Right.
I can quote Dumb and Dumber like nobody's business, because that's what happened when I grew up, right? Talking about a little place called Aspen. You know what I mean? Like, but you're saying you act this out all the time. Like you do this move, or you sing this song, or you talk about this thing and you act this thing out all the time. Is there anything that you can think of
Nothing that comes to mind.
Okay. Because she's
then
saying
again, I never pay attention to anything I say.
This is true. I can verify that.
Okay. So like she's
We
saying
have
like
3 minutes time.
okay, she's saying like I can see that. I can see her acting it out and singing it and talking about it and doing all that stuff. She's like, I can see you though. Like I could see you doing all the actions, she's saying. The other thing that she is giving me is she's giving me a Bible to give to you. I'm not saying that you have to go to church or that you have to do anything in particular, But if this is a family heirloom, or if this is something that she's talking about in the sense of it's something that somebody has within your family, she is giving me a Bible to give to you. I think that it is white or cream. It is a light color. She's handing it. She's saying, this is an heirloom, like the plates, which I'm happy that you have, but she's giving me a white book or a white Bible that is supposed to go to you. Does that make sense to you?
No, but that's okay.
Okay. So I feel like if it's not yours, then it does belong to somebody within the family that you may not have known about.
Okay.
What also will happen though is that somebody will be talking about it. Say it's like somebody's birthday and we get together for cake and ice cream, and then they're talking about this book or this Bible that was Grand's, and you're like, that's exactly what that weird psychic was saying to me about this white book. Like sometimes they just throw these things out at me and I'm like, okay, I don't know why I'm saying it. But honestly, I think that to recap about your thing and where that you are, make the moves that you want to. Your independence is only going to grow stronger with what that you do. If you're ready to do certain things for your life, it's okay to do that. The job itself, you are very part of their vernacular within the job. I think they appreciate you. Could you do more? Absolutely. But you're doing just enough that it makes sense that you're there.
Okay.
Look for that 70 cents, 7 dimes. The other thing that she does want to throw in there is that she hides stuff on you. So I don't know if that makes sense to you. If you're looking for your keys and you can't find your keys, it's because she put them on the counter where you didn't leave them. So that is that's what she's doing to get your attention. But I think that it's really important to realize that you're in a really great space. Do
Is
more
she
things for
mostly here with
yourself.
me in the house, or is she?
She loves you. She's so proud of you. She keeps talking about these darn plates. So I mean, I'm glad that you have them. So I
It's
think
so
that she's
funny that they
watching the
came up because
plates.
I just had them. I was washing them in this weekend. I was
Oh yeah.
spending a lot of time with them this weekend. So yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
And the thing about our loved ones who have passed away is that they do surround us every day. That is absolutely true. Sometimes we need their love a little bit more at different intervals, but sometimes we don't necessarily need them at any moment. So they go to different places. So it doesn't mean that she's not with you. She does appreciate the house, yes, because she's happy with the plates. But I think that there are other people within your family that she does often visit and talk to, just not as much as where you are. So are you in her house? Is that why?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's happy that the plates are safe and accounted for. But the Bible or the white book, you will get mention of. You'll see that again. I feel
Okay.
like you'll see that the next holiday or the next gathering that you have, even if you bring it up and talk about it, you'll be surprised at who says something because you're going to be like, "That's what she was talking about."
There we
Okay,
go.
Nice.
okay. So I hope
Thank
that made
you.
sense to you. Yep,
Thank you,
Thank you
Andrea.
so
We
much.
really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it
it.
was
Thank you,
it
Dale.
was a pleasure.
It
Have
was
a
a
great night, hon. Wow. The plates. Are you kidding me?
I know. And sometimes, as you know, Auntie Dale, what happens is like they tell you all these things and you're like, how do I factor? I don't know what that means.
It doesn't even make any sense. Yeah. You're like, I have no idea what this means, but here you go. This is what
Yes.
this thing. I got to tell you, Sarah, while you were
Yeah.
doing this, I don't know, you were busy talking to Andrea. I am sitting at my laptop, and right behind my laptop is a window. And something black went right by my window outside. I don't know. It kind of looked like a shadow. It
Yeah,
wasn't
it could
obvious.
be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if what's around here
Well,
tonight, but someone's around here tonight.
well, they are always hanging around. And honestly, when we are lifting our energy up, especially I say that when you turn the light on, right? And I say it's like a bug light. Remember those bug lights
Oh yeah,
that we
used to
used to
zap
have?
them. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. So when you turn it on, they're like, oh, it's going. I'm in. All right, who's next? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so they
Right.
get very attracted to that. Plus the fact that we've opened the door and they're coming through, especially on a night like this podcast. And what we're doing is we're trying to invite different things in a good way. I don't think that black figure or that energy is supposed to be negative. I think
No.
it's just part of, and you didn't get a negative feeling at all.
No, not at all. I was just like, oh, okay, something just went by. All right, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and in my mind's eye, I'm like, you can come in. I'm fine. You know, you don't have to stay outside the
exactly.
window.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're going hang out if they want to. They're very attracted to what's happening because
Yeah.
we're talking in terms that they understand.
Exactly. Finally. Yeah.
Exactly. And buddy, I love that little banner down there. Auntie Dale is a witch.
It could be Tom. Yeah, I like that too. Auntie Dale's a witch. I kind of like that. But Buddy just asked if it's Tom. Tom is the ghost that resides in our house. He's a former owner of the house.
Okay.
He actually passed in this house.
Okay.
And he appears regularly. So it could be
and
him. I'm not sure though. It didn't really feel like him.
No, but if the bug light is on, it doesn't matter who it could be. We don't have to pinpoint that. Just know that you're going to get activity is what it is, right? Activity is going to happen.
Right. Are you
Mm-hmm.
ready for the next one?
I am ready.
Okay. Danielle?
Oh, here you are.
Can you hear us? We can't hear you.
It's a pretty purple light that she has.
It is a pretty purple light.
See, her bug light is on too.
Yeah.
Her bug light is on. Yeah.
I need a purple light though. That would be pretty.
I know, that's nice.
Still can't
hear you.
Sign out and sign back in again.
Uh-oh. Nope, not working.
Hold on.
Uh-oh, whoever that was like,
yeah, we're done. Hold on.
Yep.
Let me try to send her a message.
It's hot in my little office here. Phew, phew, phew.
Is it?
Yeah. I turned the air on, but sometimes it gets a little toasty in here.
I'm telling her, hopefully she sees this. Danielle, she's frozen, right?
Yeah, she's frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, there she goes.
Okay.
She must have got it.
She must have got it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily Tom per se, but I think that there's definitely a caretaker of your house. What year was your house built?
1947.
Okay. So whoever built that house is very proud of its,
Yeah, that's Tom. He's the one who built this house.
Yep. So he's very proud of all of the things that have transpired within that house. So that's what I get out of tapping into that little part of it. Still no sound.
Still no sound, Danielle. Nope.
So yeah, that's what I get out of that is that he's super happy that you guys have maintained it and that you live in it and everything's kind of the way that he likes it in a certain way. But I'm sure that if you've changed certain things, you'll find that there's more activity. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just that he's checking it out.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. No, we got you. Okay.
Yay!
Welcome, Danielle. Thank you so much for coming on our show.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So, Danielle, this is Sarah, and I'm just going to kind of go in the background and let Sarah do her thing because she is fabulous.
Hi.
Hi. So the way that I do readings is that I am going to shuffle for you. You can think about whatever you want. If you want to keep your mind open, that's fine. If you want a blanket, that's fine. It's completely whatever you need. Universe is going to give us what we need to talk about tonight. So just trust and believe that it will happen for you. And what I shuffle I'm just going to have you tell me when you want me to stop. Okay. And that way there we can effectively tap into your energy. Okay. Ready? Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. I think we're good.
Feel good? Okay. So the first thing that I want to say about you is that you have crazy fairy energy. So what I mean by that is that your beauty, your connection to nature, your connection to animals, and I'm not talking fairy like Tinkerbell. That's not it. It's that you have this little sparkly kind of ambiance around you, and it surrounds you, and that is for a reason. Okay, like you find joy in places that normally people don't find joy. You know what I mean? Like you always look to different, like your energy is effervescent, if that's even a thing. But like tapping into you have severe fairy energy. Sometimes mischievous in nature, like you don't mean to be, like you're just having a good time. Oh, let's go, blow the air horn and make people jump. Like, let's scare that you know what I mean? Like, it's cute. It's cute. You don't mean any harm, but then everybody laughs and has a good time. That being said, if you are connected to fairies in general, or if as a little girl, that's something that you always looked for in the woods, or I see the fairies, or like, that kind of a thing, it makes sense kind of in a certain way. I would invite you to put offerings outside your home and for them. They like anything shiny. They like anything sweet. Yep, exactly. Girl, same. They like anything shiny, anything sweet, and anything of that nature kind of way. So like Hershey Kisses, they love Skittles.
Good to know.
So just, you know what? If you have like a little fairy garden, even if you have potted plants, stick a little tinfoil or a Hershey Kiss in there. If it melts, no big deal. Whatever. It's like an offering to the fairies. Okay. So you have this effervescent energy. So when we look at people like you are supposed to bring joy to situations that otherwise would not have had joy. So what I mean by that is that when you walk into a room, people know that you're there. When people walk into a room, there's either a couple of different ways that we look at. Like, your energy takes over the room, which can be very suffocating, right? Mm-hmm. There's people who walk into a room that all eyes are on them, which is very intoxicating, right? And then there's people who walk into a room that just bring mirth and joy and laughter and fun, and that's what you do. That's what you do. So I feel like if that makes sense to you, if that resonates with you, that's exactly, there's no coinky dink of why that is. Yes. Okay. So I did want to kind of point out, not that it has anything to do with your reading, but Auntie Dale, shuffling the cards for the volunteer before I dropped them, my hands were kind of all over the place because I was overthinking it, because tapping into that person's energy was totally different than Danielle, which shuffling was very, very easy. Very status, like very, very happy, yep, I can do this, right? So it's very indicative to who that person is. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just very indicative to that energy. Okay. I just wanted to point that out. Yep. So let me get into a couple of cards for you. Okay. So there is a situation career-wise that we are thinking about doing, right? So if you have been in a certain environment where this is what you've been doing for a long period of time, and that you're kind of stagnant in that, and it doesn't bring you that happiness that you wanted to kind of, that you anticipated starting and then finishing with, you are getting stuck in that rat race rigmarole, same old that everybody is doing. Not only that, you've lost control over what the job means to you. We shouldn't be defined by a career or a job. We should add to that, amplify that, help in that, right? We shouldn't have to go day to day and be like, here we go again. Right. How am I going to pay my bills if I don't go to work? And I'm defined by this job. Mm-hmm. So the reason why we say that to you in this way is because it's not that you've lost control of yourself, but this job has taken over that beautiful energy that you have. And it's kind of morphed it into something else. You're not your happy spirit when you're there. So the only thing that I can tell you is that if we are looking for other pathways or other things, that's necessary. If it isn't necessary to necessarily change your job at this moment in time based on money, or based on, that you just recently bought something and you have to pay for it, yeah. Right? It's the thought that's going to drive you. So if the job is kind of taken over your existence, now you can kind of little by little leave pieces of it behind. Don't take it home with you. Don't let it come into your existence any more than it should, just the way that it was in the beginning, right? So little by little, even if it is an affirmation, as soon as you leave that place, as soon as you take off whatever garments that you have to wear there and hang it up, and you say, I hang this up because I'm not doing this when I leave here, or this is symbolic of me leaving it behind as I go on my day, or whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. And I feel like what you are bringing to the table is that it's still the same, quality effort that you're putting out there. It's just that the job has kind of taken its toll on you. we all get in that kind of space of that this isn't exactly the best thing for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
The only person you can change in all of this is yourself. So again, by actually physically doing the ritual of, I'm leaving this behind. When you get in your car, you could be like, literally, leaving all that dirt out there. You know, sometimes people will put hand sanitizer on. Sometimes people will spray something, like whatever it looks like to you. Make it a ritual in your day-to-day, because that job doesn't need to come home with you.
Right.
Okay? So do you have to take off a garment and hang it up when you leave? You have to take off an apron or a garment or something to put it aside?
So I'm a little conflicted, because I just left a job that was doing that to me. It was kind of soul sucking, and I just left that job, and it was like a law office, and I was just kind of at my wit's end there. So, but I have a different job now where I have to physically take off and put on my work badge.
Okay.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Yes. So sometimes what happens is that, like a shadow period of that full moon, do you know what I mean? We go through that full moon, and then everybody's crazy. And then a couple of days after, we go through a shadow period. That job that you left is still residual on you. So what that looks like to me is that we need to get rid of that. So if that means that you do something that is a ritual to get rid of it, in the sense of, like, if you have some of the paperwork lying around from your old job, get rid of it, shred it, burn it. Or if there's other mementos from that job, say you took home the stapler, get rid of it, right? Get rid of that other job in order to start the new, right? Because what's happening, it's getting very intertwined.
Right.
New job and what that you are doing, that you have to physically take something off and hang it up.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to prevent that job from following you, much like the previous job did, then make sure that you do that. If that is any indicator that you need to go ahead and do that for this job going forward, then that's cool. New job, new stuff, new relationship, new experience. You always get, this is cool, this is great, I like it. And then all of a sudden you're like, maybe I don't like it. Maybe I'm not really enjoying it, right? So that's what I'm saying. If you start this process now, you won't get to the other side of taking the badge off and hanging it up. Okay? All right. So not job withstanding, we're going to literally take our badge off and hang it up. So the other thing that I really kind of wanted to throw out there at you is that what you've been doing for yourself is more of that refresh, relaxation, reconnection with yourself. And if that is you doing more meditation, if you're actually doing Reiki on yourself, or if that's like things that you're being very mindful of in a certain way, this is amazing. It's going to come fast and furious that you're going to want to do more of that. Like, you're going to stop in the middle of the day and be like, I need 5 seconds. I'm going to take my shoes off and I need 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine, what you're doing, because what's happening is that wherever you're working or whatever you're doing on your day-to-day, more stuff is going to happen, right? So you're going to have to effectively use those coping mechanisms in order to ground yourself, center yourself, and kind of make yourself go forward. Because what's happening within your life is that there is not turmoil, I don't want to say that, but there's stuff that's going on that you really have to pay attention to, and that you're putting the faith that you're doing the right things and you're headed in the right direction. So by saying that, I feel like what's happening is that by taking more care and being mindful of the things that you need to do within your life, you are kind of stretching that narrative a little bit differently.
Good.
And what I mean by that, again, is that the universe is going to reward you for being like, you're doing a good job. You're being a good doobie, right? Taking that time to do the relaxation processes, or, even grounding yourself in other kind of ways makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. The other thing is that, did you recently, I know Auntie Dale bought some new jewelry, but did you recently start wearing something differently, or did you start wearing, and I know the badge, I'm not saying the badge, but did you start using crystals or putting crystals on, like wearing anything that has a crystal property on it?
So definitely when I'm wearing this, my boyfriend gave it to me. I don't even know what it is, but it's a little crescent moon with a little stone in it, and
it looks like
it lights up.
Moonstone.
It does look like a moonstone.
Yeah,
It
I
lights,
think
it
moonstone.
lights up like a fairy light.
True.
Okay, true, true. So anyway, you're only going to get better the more that you trust the properties of your stone, right? When we are called to do something, even if we're gifted something and we absolutely love it, because I'll tell you what, sometimes I get the best gifts and I'm like, I would have never bought that for myself. I love that.
Right.
Thank you. Right? Is that you
Yeah.
feel really connected to this. That stone is meant to be yours. It's meant to be part of your life. It's meant to be worn. It's meant to be loved. It's meant to be used. You're not always going to align with that stone, but right now it makes sense, especially if it's a moonstone. Especially if it's a moonstone, because moonstones have that little bit of flash, right? Have that little bit of fairy light in it, right? And if it glows in a certain direction, then that's exactly like it glows in general. Like it's supposed to be helping you kind of light yourself up in certain ways.
Oh, good.
So
I like that.
yeah, and I think as a gift from your boyfriend, like that's really a great gift. So, kudos to him for actually picking that out for you and being right on the money. This is a foray into bigger things. So like I say, that stone is not always going to align with what you have going on. But right now you're going to love it. You're going to wear it. It's going to go with every outfit you could possibly put it on with. Take it off to shower and do all of those things, because moonstones shouldn't be worn in the water all the time.
Right.
But anyway, that being said, the reason why we're talking about that is because that gift was literally put in your possession for a reason. And he might not have ever bought anything like this before. He was just called to buy it for you.
Yeah, that's exactly how that happened.
All right, so we're going to talk about the boyfriend. Can I call him by first initials? Fine.
Jay.
Jay. Jay? Oh, Jay. That heart is so big for Jay. Jay is so big. So his heart is just, it wraps up, like you guys being that mirth, that full of energy and mirth and happiness, and him having all of that emotional connection, and just, you're going to make magic happen in general. The universe has definitely put him into your path, or vice versa, for a reason. And I feel like he's never really felt as connected to somebody within his life. Like you guys have each other's hearts in a different way than any other relationship that has transpired. I'm not sure if the number 6 means anything for the two of you. If you started dating 6 months ago, if you started dating, I know it's June, but like if the day that you started dating was ended in a 6 or was a 6, but that 6 to me comes forward in its complete balance, right? We've got 3 of one and 3 of another. We've got the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, and then we have the Maid, the Mother, the Crone, and they're very interchangeable in what that they do for that. It is that soul purpose, right? So we've got the 2 humans, and then we have the higher being. So literally and no pressure at all, right? But what you have meant to be together in this definite position has been to make magic together. So he is a great partner for you. How long have you guys been together?
Well, we've known each other for about 8 years, and we've been together on and off throughout those years.
Okay. So when's the last time that you guys got together? Like, how long has that time frame been?
Oh, we probably been seriously dating for about the last 6 months.
Oh, there we go. Danielle.
So that, again, sometimes when somebody weird is telling you something about your life, you're like, I don't know what that means. You have to put it, that's why I say put a pin in it or put it in your back pocket, because eventually you're going to be like, Nadoy, that totally makes sense, right? Okay. Yeah. So 6, but 6 is a balanced number, right? The 6s that we see in the tarot deck, especially, it's all about moving things in a direction. It's all about balance. It's all about victory. It's all about everybody's got what they need. So maybe all of those years together where you've been back and forth, it wasn't the right timing. And now all of a sudden, all systems are aligned, and it's time for this to really make some sense, because the universe really has this intent to reward both of you. And why I say that, I know reward, that sounds so weird, but reward in the sense of, like, if you can see that card, hold on. Yeah. There we go. I love the shine on this. This is the Ace of Pentacles. So it's a 5-pointed star, and then there's the whole of 1, right? Yeah. So it's 6 if you think of it, right? Okay. So that being said, it is a hand from the universe going, here's your opportunity for that tangible stuff. maybe things didn't work out before because you were too concerned about this. He was too involved with this. Maybe there was a little bit of argument because you guys weren't meeting at the same level. But
Right.
now all systems are aligned and balanced. And to be perfectly honest with you, he needed to grow up a little bit. Just saying. Jay, I love you wherever you are, but he needed to grow up a little bit in order to meet you where you needed to be met. So, and sorry, guys have to do that. I'm not being, not being fresh specifically to him. It is true. But now it's like everything, all of the stars have literally aligned for this specific purpose. Okay. Is he in the room?
No, but I did show him the link to this show. So
okay, so he's going to watch it later. Sorry, Jay.
Well, this will be interesting after this.
No, and he's, honestly, he's going to agree because maybe the timing wasn't right, but now he's got his stuff together and he's got his way about that he feels really confident and comfortable with who that he is, and he's learned more about himself, that he's ready to meet you where you need to be met. There's no harm and no foul in kind of talking about that and saying, like, I was kind of a jerk before because I wasn't happy with myself or I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. And finally, when I chose myself and I chose to be a better version of myself, highest and best, that's all we can hope for.
Yeah. And
it was all on him. And then he decided that, now the time was right. And then everything kind of worked out in this way.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about your living situation. Do you guys live together?
No.
Okay. And I think that at this moment is a good idea. I think that eventually what will happen is that you will decide that is what's going to happen. Is there a distance in between you two?
Yeah. Not too far, but it's far enough.
Well, we're in Rhode Island. If you have to pack a lunch, then, like if I have to go to your house and it's 45 minutes away, but that kind of a thing, right? So there will be a compromise on both ends in order to get to where it needs to be based on work environment and situational stuff. Do not think of that has to happen tomorrow. It's not going to. Yes. Give it some time, but there will be a movement in which you will leave some of the things behind where you are physically in order to be closer to him, as well as he will do the same. So there will be some movement for you. I think I'm going to say in the next 18 months, I'm not going to give you guys 2 years. I'm going to give you 18 months. Okay. So if that's on your timeline, then that makes sense. The other thing that I want to talk about is that the world. I'm not going to speculate and I'm not going to say what is going to happen. But if systems really have aligned and things are really working in the right direction, the two of you have this world that will collide and grow bigger in a certain way. You take that, you put that in your back pocket. It can mean many different things. We are on a podcast for the public. We don't need to talk about specifically personal items, but I'm going to say that this world card is that at the most vulnerable you will get, it will be that you will do these things together. Okay. The world is yours when it comes to the two of you. Okay. So if we talk about promises of the new, I'm going to give you 2 thumbs up. Okay.
Sarah, 3 more minutes, hon.
Okay. So promises of the new, 3 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. It's going to make sense that the world is yours for the two of you. Okay. So I know that we didn't get to do this with Andrea, but do you have any questions or anything that you were thinking of that you wanted to talk about or that you wanted to ask about?
Uh-oh. I think she froze up again.
Uh-oh. Well, if not, I'm just going to pull.
Yeah, there you go.
I wanted to give her the opportunity. Oh my goodness. So look what I got. It's a 6. So I think what's going to happen for Danielle is that there will be some sort of trip or vacation or something that she will plan for in the near future. Is this going to be with her Jay? Perhaps, but I think that it's something that she needs to do for herself, whether that's go to visit family, whether that's kind of put something to bed in the sense of like something that she's always wanted to do or that she needed to accomplish, then that is something that will happen for her. There will be some sort of planning involved to make sure that this happens, whether or not it's an actual from point A to point B trip, or if it's something that she literally has to do for herself. It is something that she's going to have to put a lot of thought process, and it will be a journey to get there. Oh, she's back.
She's back.
Woo! 2 thumbs up. So what I said was I got another 6 for you. And the other thing that I wanted to say is that there's a journey ahead. So literally this can be a physical, I'm going on vacation or I'm going to do something or I need to put something to bed. This is happening for you. I don't know if Jay is going to be part of this or is it something that you wanted to do, but there is a location, something that you're going to have to plan to do that will be in the near future. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, there's a couple things. I'm going on a vacation to Florida this Saturday, and then in November, I'm going to Japan with my best friend.
Okay. So this is, like I said, it could be something that you're trying to really plan to put things together, like a bucket list or something like that. It needs to happen. It's not a romantic getaway vacation. It needs to be something. The Florida trip, I do want to touch base on. Do you have family in Florida?
Yes.
Okay, that is kind of the trip that I'm thinking of. And it's going to be one where you actually have to put things to bed in a certain way. Like you actually have to do something. Maybe you have to connect with relatives. Maybe there's something that needs to be said or done, but there's something that needs to be done when you are in Florida. And you kind of know what I'm talking about, I'm sure.
Okay.
Okay. So, and again, we don't need to kind of dive into that, but you definitely have those 6s of balance around you. So that could be a lucky number that you will look at the clock and it's 6:06 or it's 6:56 and you're going to be like, oh my God. Okay. All right. Those 6s are going to be everywhere. If you don't see them, he will. Okay.
Let him know.
Okay. You're going to be like, look out for 6s. They're going to come your way. 6 is the most balanced. So I love that. So does this make sense to you tonight?
I'm a Libra. I'm all about that balance. So
that makes sense too.
Yeah,
absolutely. But again, with that Libra energy, it's, you know, that fairy stuff that makes sense too, right?
Yes.
You know?
It does.
So, okay. So this made sense to you tonight? Thank you so much for being a volunteer. I appreciate that. Okay.
Thank you, Danielle. It was great seeing you.
Guys, thank you.
Take care. Wow, what a great night, Sarah. What a great night. Now, we have a few more, just a couple minutes, but I just wanted to see if Heather was still around. Is she still with you?
Heather sat across from me the entire time.
Did she?
Oh, yeah. Of course she did.
Of course she did.
She asked me.
This one's Heather.
Oh my God, you're using a Patriot?
That's all I'm gonna give her.
So she sat across from me and was so enthralled with what was happening. I have to tell you that she loves all of the things that you guys are doing, that you are connecting to the other side in certain ways, that you are, but that you are doing this for the greater good as well. Do you know what I mean? Purple is her favorite color, and purple, if you think about that purple third eye or that crown, you know what I mean, that's happening. It's like she was trying to tell you this for the longest time. It's all about being happy. It's all about connecting everybody, that party planner in her, the music in her, the celebration. It's all about that. You know what I mean? It's all about that idea that it's supposed to happen like this. We're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to talk about great stuff. Like, she is so enthralled. Not only that, she is laughing because she is like, this was the best. This was the best. This was we're going to do this again? When are we going to do this again? She's talking about
next Tuesday live at 8:05. We're going to be on
you
again.
Guys I gotta say,
tune in, Heather, and all others on this side and that.
I don't mean me, but she's all about this, and she's going to keep watching because that's what she likes to do. And because I've connected with her, now she's my friend, and she's going to be, every time I talk to one of you, she steps right in. Hello. The other thing that she wants to talk about, I think, especially with Dale, when you were in Salem, did you buy any candles?
No.
Okay. She's talking about a specific candle that you need to get that you were thinking about, or that, you know, if it's like a local place that you were like, oh, I really want to try that place, or I want to go into that place, you will end up buying a candle. So if there's a local shop that you haven't been in lately, it's going to be like this place that you're going to be drawn to, but not only that, you're going to pick out a specific candle, and that one she's going to send to you. It's not for Buddy, it's for you. Okay. All right. I don't know why.
I don't want her candles.
I know. I don't want a candles. She's funny. You guys made a really great team. That is what she's laughing at you.
Yeah,
she's
absolutely.
Like, oh, stop it. That's what
Oh.
She's a really great lady. That's why.
Yes.
She was fun.
Yeah.
She was a good she was a good soul all around. Yeah,
Yes, she
an
was.
awesome person.
She still is. She's like,
Oh,
shut
yeah.
up, I still
She
am.
still is. Absolutely. Her energy is still all around us all the time.
Oh yeah. Yep. And
No.
now I get to be witness to it.
That's right. Now you're a part of us.
Right?
Everyone, thank you so much for joining us tonight for our live show. And next week, join us again at 8:05 for another episode of It's a Legit Metaphysical World.